Listener, welcome to Mega Feature, which comes your way at 8 p.m. I am Atobet Yokeram. Agriculture extension is the application of scientific research and knowledge and new knowledge to agricultural practices through farmer education. The field of extension now encompasses a wider range of communication and learning activities organized for rural people by educators from different disciplines, including agriculture, agricultural marketing, health, and also in the animal husbandry. In Uganda, extension service is as old as in the 1970s, where farmers had decentralized services of extension workers who move in the community, sensitizing people about how to manage their crops, animals, and even provide services at low cost rates. The National Advisory Services, Agriculture Advisory Services NADS Act of 2001 gave NADS the mandate of modernizing agriculture in Uganda. NADS also was seen as a big boost for extension services in the country since farmers had access to contracted agricultural services. But NADS failed in supporting extension services in the country because in the long run it ended up focusing more on providing farm inputs instead of the much needed capacity related services. In the animal husbandry, Government of Uganda through the Peace Recovery and Development Plan PRDP2, government provided 20 billion shillings in 2014 to see that the most vulnerable people in the northern region get cattle to support animal restocking programs in the region. But due to poor veterinary services, many of the animals were dying in the remote areas. The same is now being experienced with the Operation Wealth Creation program, where many heifers distributed to farmers have died mainly due to poor management. Our reporter James Onono Ojok tries to find out the challenges farmers face because of the lack of extension services and what government is doing to address the situation. James.
I am in the farm of Ojok a livestock farmer who keeps goats, sheep, cattle, among others in Palaro Sub-County, Gulu District. I visited his farm on a sunny day to find if really is experiencing challenges related to extension services. Jokene, who took me around the farm, explains the challenges he's facing as to limited extension services.
Like for example, myself was trying to practice, this small husbandry. I have a lot of challenge because I have limited knowledge. I like to improve, but where do I get the knowledge? Do I get somebody coming to visit me, to work with me, to guide me? And I think it will also be prudent for the government to go back if we want to change agriculture, to go back and start to have these offices functioning, to work. Because at the moment what is happening, if we have any problem, then you have to look for a private person. And sometimes you cannot afford to keep them full time.
He says there is a need for government to revive extension services to help livestock farmers since it is expensive to hire private veterinarians. To get an understanding of how extension services worked in the 1970s, I visited Mzee Onono John, 68 years of age, and a small-scale farm in Laiba Ring Road at the border between Omoro and Gulu District. I found him resting at home after the morning gardening. The retired civil servant who served from 1971 to 2008 at the level of cooperative and district commercial officer in Gulu District told me that extension service was efficient in the past.
Extension services was efficient because most of the staff were near the farmers. They were delivering services at the door. They were at hand, so coordination was very easy and reaching farmers was very easy because farmers would not walk a long distance to district headquarters, but they would just go to sub-county headquarters, get their staff and be informed about what they want. Even the district office would be easily connected, easily coordinated because you would collect the information needed from sub-county to county consolidate for the sub-counties and submit to the district. The district could consolidate for the whole district now. So the services was very efficient.
He said there is need to recruit extension workers since most of the old experts have either retired or died.
The government should recruit more staff and train them because in those days we had training schools like the agricultural college, there was a cooperative college. You go and train there, you are recruited there. Even for that, because in those days we used to work in a team. You find one sub-county having all these staff from the various departments, veterinary, cooperative, community, agriculture, and all those departments were at hand for the farmers. So any farmer in any sub-county could just get information at hand without even wasting time.
Adong Lillian, the Noya woman member of parliament, previously served as the sub-county chief in Lamogi and another sub-counties in Amuro and Noya districts, respectively, before joining politics. She explained that extension services existed until around 2006 when the whole idea got confused in NADS.
I happened to be a sub-county chief and I had the staff. I had an entomology officer, had veterinary officer, degree holder, agriculture officer, I had fisheries officer, about 7 agricultural staff at the sub-county. And it was very easy to monitor and help farmers carry out farming. These extension workers were being given allowances, which is agricultural extension grants, given to them to help them move in the community. When you compare at that time, so government came up with NADS. NADS just came up and disbanded all this, saying now they are going to give inputs. So most of the agricultural extension workers then were recruited into NADS contract program. So they abandoned the extension service. So my advice is the government should go back to the single spine system of extension workers. They recruit them and put them at the sub-county level and go back to that structure. Because farmers cannot afford paying for private services from private veterinary officers, private agriculture officers, or entomology officers.
Dr. Robert Lim, the executive director for NUSAF under the Prime Minister's office, said government is aware of the challenges and has since started the process to recruit extension workers through the District Service Commission. He says extension workers for animal and crop husbandry and fishery who will be recruited by December will be based at sub-counties in Uganda.
So starting from this year, there will be a number of new government officers at the extension level, at the level of every sub-county, to help the farmers in transferring technical knowledge, in addressing diseases and disease prevention, in addressing modern methods of production, so that we can increase in production and reduce the losses and the poor scale of production that we have had over the years. The aim is that this production will end up creating money for our people because they will bring something to the market in larger quantities, in bigger quality than has been before.
Nabongo Geoffrey Lukuya, Gulu District Principal Human Resource Officer, confirmed that they are already receiving applications for extension workers and that the deadline was on the 3rd November 2016.
They wanted that all the sub-counties must have agricultural officer, veterinary officer, and then fishery officer of selected sub-county. Not all the sub-county might have fishery officer. Depends on the needs. So the advert is still running, and then the deadline is on the 3rd. That is the Thursday. That's when they are closing the deadline. The advert was done for entire this country because of financial implication. So ministry advertised on behalf of all the districts in Uganda. The candidates will be interviewed by respective district service commission.
Apart from recruiting extension workers, Dr. Lim said government is in the process of formalizing a partnership with Gulu University's Faculty of Agriculture to see that students are attached to farmers in the rural areas and be marked and assessed on their engagement with the farmers under the student-centered outreach model. Dr. Duncan Ongeng, the Dean Faculty of Agriculture at Gulu University, confirmed to me that the partnership with government to improve agriculture in the regions, saying both farmers and the student will benefit.
How does it go? It is on the unique training model that we have adopted. The uniqueness is in two parts. One, we have integrated community engagement in student training. And two, we have integrated enterprise development beyond student community interaction. There is two-way flow of information in terms of knowledge and skills. The students transfer the knowledge and the skills they learn from the university to the community. And the students also acquire some indigenous knowledge and practices which are not taught in the classroom. And in that way, you form an hybrid. The farmers that we work with are very expressed satisfaction with the students during the attachment process.
I have been James Onono Ojok, bringing you this report on extension services in Gulu District.
Thank you very much, James. Professional guidance is important in having a successful investment in agriculture. Whether in crops or animal, farmers need to access professional knowledge on how to manage an enterprise in agriculture. Without this consideration, farmers are bound to make irreversible mistakes that will discourage them from going further. Dear listener, thank you for listening. Catch us again next week, same time, same station. For comments and views on this feature, please email us at megafmnewsroom@yahoo.com or write to Mega FM Feature Desk and drop it at the station. I am Atobe Okera, and we'll be back with your weekly news roundup. Good evening.
That was Mega News, keeping you in touch with the latest news and information, only on 102 Mega FM.